when I was a lad, there was a series of film seasons that happened in a couple of consecutive years in the sort of early 1990s on Channel 4. And they would always happen around Christmas time. And they would be called a Chinese ghost story season or something along those lines. And they would also do like they did like a Jackie Chan season, and they did like the Godzilla season as well. And I've got such fond memories of those Christmases sitting with my dad, my brother, and my mum, watching, you know, all of these different types of films. And I especially have in my heart a great memory of late on a Christmas night watching a film called Mr. Vampire. It was released in 1985. And when I watched this film as a kid, I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know what had hit me because it's just the film's about hopping vampires. You heard me. It's about vampires that hop like this. That's what they do. They don't walk. They hop. This is actually getting a bit creepy, isn't it? Sorry. And this film blew me away. Absolutely blew me away when I was a kid. I loved it. It was so much fun. And excuse me, moving around in the farty chair again. And it really it's just a lovely memory that I have about this film and about some of the other films in this season, which I'm going to get to. But recently I managed to track down a copy of it, and I sat and watched it again, thinking that it'd be one of these films that I would look at and go, oh, I can understand why I loved that when I saw it as a kid, but now it's just obviously it's not a very good film, which has happened so many times to me. It's really disheartening. I'm sure you guys have all experienced it as well. Not the case. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. I was so happy when the film finished, and I was like, you know, this is just as good as I remember. And there was so much of it that I had forgotten about because I think I'd only seen it like once or twice. And just a wonderful, wonderful film. It's a Chinese movie. Let's say it was released in 1985. It stars an actor called Ching-ying, who reprised the lead role or a similar role in many different Chinese films, and it's a period piece. I'm not exactly sure when it's set. I would say I think it's set late 19th century maybe, and it follows a Taoist priest played by Lam Ching Ying, who has been asked to rebury this wealthy man, this wealthy man's father rather, to move his burial somewhere else for him and to perform all of the rituals that are required for that. And what he does is when they try to exhume the body, they notice that the body is in fact very well preserved, incredibly well preserved. So they believe that this is actually a type of, I'm not sure if it's like specifically a vampire, but it's quite similar to vampires. A member of the undead anyway, and they hop around, which sounds comical, and it is, and this is a comedy, but it's got great horror elements in it, and they then set about trying to do the rituals and all that to stop this thing from, you know, rising from the grave. And what happens is that the priest ends up being kind of almost framed because the body does rise from the grave and kills a few people, and the priest ends up in jail, and he's ably assisted by his two servants or students, and one of them's a bit of a sort of buffoon type character. Well, they're both buffoonish in a lot of ways, but one of them is completely a buffoon. He's more buffoon. He's like 110% buffoon, and the other one is not so much. And they try to break him out of jail, and there's a sort of love interest story as well with the wealthy man's daughter with one of the students. And the entire film, most of the film takes place in and around the priest's sort of temple or home, where they end up fighting this vampire, and there's one scene where there's loads of vampires that they're fighting, and there's even a subplot about a female ghost who, and this will sound familiar if you've seen the film A Chinese Ghost Story, which I'm going to talk about in a future video. They have a tradition in China, this mythology about female ghosts that prey on men. You know, the female ghost is beautiful and manages to sort of get the man to come over to them and seduces them, and then kills them, and that kind of is happening here as well, and the priest has to get involved in that, and it's for some strange reason it feels like when I'm watching it, it feels like I'm watching like a real Ghostbusters episode or something like that, you know, or a Kolchak the Night Stalker episode, or it's like Teos Priest versus these different supernatural creatures. And the thing is as well, it is a martial arts movie as well. Great martial arts choreography, wonderful martial arts choreography, just fantastic, and done with a very sort of comical slant, so they're very, very funny as well. And this is just a wonderful film, a wonderful, wonderful film. What a laugh! And sometimes we forget that cinema. There's nothing wrong with a film being pure entertainment. I know on this channel we all discuss things about, you know, in some video essay videos, we go more in depth with certain films. There's no need to with some films, because some films are purely about putting a smile on your face, you know, and there is nothing wrong with that. And Mr. Vampire very much is that, you know. There's not a whole sort of subtext to it. The closest you can come to that, to any sort of other meaning within the film, is that there's this element of old meets new within the movie. Like the priest, there's a scene where the priest sits down to have tea with the wealthy man, and it's obviously been they go to this tea house, and it's obviously very much been westernized, and he doesn't know how to go about it, and he kind of makes a fool of himself and the student a little bit, because the two of them don't really know what to do in this situation. And there's kind of this sort of old meets new, or east meets west idea, but that's it, you know. It's just balls to the wall fun, guys fighting vampires that hop around with martial arts, and just what a laugh. I can't really say any more about it, because just go and try and find it, Mr. Vampire. See if you can find it. I think the DVD is quite rare, so but if you do get a hold of it, please do watch it, and definitely let me know what you think about it, because I just had such a blast watching this film, and I'm definitely going to watch it again. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with some more reviews. If you have any requests or anything like that, put them down below, I'll get to them. And remember to check out the forums if you want to talk about films and all sorts of other good stuff. And I will talk to you all soon. So I need to stop doing this. I need to stop saluting yous. Bye for now.